Hey pillars, and welcome back to a brand new video. And today we're taking a look at the WheelTop EDS-GeX gravel group set from WheelTop. So they sent me this for review, full transparency, but I'm super excited to take a look at this because I have been using a WheelTop on my road bike in the back for over 5,000 kilometers. And if you have watched my previous videos talking about WheelTop, you would know I'm a big fan. So as I was saying, I am a big fan of WheelTop. I've ridden over 5,000 kilometers with the road group set on my rim brake bike, and I was thoroughly impressed because group sets and them coming from China was something I thought was long overdue. So the fact that it's finally here, it's affordable, it's actually high quality, it actually works, and there is obviously some quirks in terms of the actual group set because these are the initial generations of the group set. So if you know anything about Shimano back in the day, I'm talking like 2012, 2013, even that wasn't as good as it got. So it takes time, but from, right now, I'm actually really impressed. So we have the rear derailleur in my hand right now, and I will show you guys all the specs. But like I said, this video isn't just me saying, oh, amazing group set, go get it. I actually have 5,000 kilometers of riding. So this is where the video will change because I do want to give an overview of the group set, of the gravel group set. But I just want to say for full transparency too, if you're looking at this as being like a initial ride review or even a medium review, I have yet to get this on a bike because I actually need to figure out my gravel bike for 2025. And that is why I was so excited to get this group set in hand, because I was thinking, you know what, riding, road, no problems, getting the training done, getting the kilometers in, looking a lot different for 2025, might throw in some racing. So I thought, hey, you know what? 2025 might be the year, the comeback for gravel racing. So I got to see the logistics of it, got to get the bike built up. So I also want you guys to leave your ideas in the comment section down below of what frame I could build this group set up with. I kind of have an idea, what components I would like to use. And I will talk about it in this video to give maybe you guys an idea if you want to get this group set to do a build yourself. But definitely from this video, I will try to get a gravel bike built up. It's just hard logistically just to have, an extra bike now, because back when I was doing gravel racing and cycling, I was actually living at home. And since then I've been traveling the world. So, logistically having more than one bike when you don't have a garage is not the easiest, but I will figure it out. And we're going to jump into the website in terms of what WheelTop offers, go through all the specs to see if it's something that would suit you. And that's why I'm still rocking the group set on my rim brake bike in the background. So let's just see what they offer. So taking a look at the WheelTop website, it's going for 599 euros, usually 600 USD, give or take. There are obviously promotions that WheelTop offers, but they come in 4 different options. So there's the short cage version along with the long cage, and there's aluminum versus carbon. So on my road bike, I have the carbon version, but this one is just the standard aluminum. I will show on screen the actual weights of the rear derailleur and the front shifters. The group set doesn't come with a front derailleur because it's obviously used for gravel. So if you're doing adventure riding or gravel racing, it's probably easier, depending on the course, just to stick with a 1x setup and have the big dog cog on the back. Say that 5 times fast. So very competitive price. The biggest thing I actually love about WheelTop is the actual quality of the group set is extremely high for the price. And I would say right now, just off the top of my head, for gravel racing or even cycling or adventure, like, you're going to take a spill. It's just a matter of time. And the fact that you don't need to be as stressed out if one of these components need replacing, it's pretty ease of mind. Now, for full transparency too, I talked about this in my previous video, that in terms of getting replacement parts or taking it to your local mechanic, they might not be able to service it because it's not standard like Shimano or SRAM, but because of how competitive the price is, and to my understanding, WheelTop has pretty good customer service. I haven't had to deal with anything major. I actually took a spill on my road bike, but nothing was damaged, just cosmetically. So I would have to see, but obviously as more users use the WheelTop group sets, there's obviously going to be more aftermarket support. So just going through the website, the biggest thing is the speed. So it's from 3 speeds all the way to 14 speeds. I think that's really cool that they offer that customizability, just because if you want to upgrade in the future, it's so cool to go from 11 speed to even 12 speed, because I right now ride 11 speed on my road bike, but if this offers 12 speed, if I build up this gravel bike, why would I not set it up 12 speed and just get with the times and have an extra gear? So it's cool how they're not limiting you into like a specific ecosystem. And that makes me think, when I used to work at a bike shop, I was really confused when they went from 10 speed to 11 speed, because I was like, okay, maybe I understand the rear mech if they can't, accommodate that extra new speed, but the front shifters and the front derailleur, that's not changing. So why can't you just have to buy a rear derailleur? And then you understand the cycling industry and new life cycles of products and stuff like that. And, I do not like that. Really, it's kind of disappointing, a lot more waste than needed. So I like the WheelTop's approach, where it's like they're getting you into their ecosystem, but they're showing you like, hey, you know what? We don't want you to have to buy a new group set, in 2 years, 3 years time, depending on when, 13 speed comes out, or depending on when you want to upgrade all your old equipment. Because the cool thing with these group sets is that, let's say you have a mechanical, road bike or mechanical gravel bike, or even they offer mountain bike group sets as well. You can just upgrade to wireless, to electronic shifting. So it's just cool that you don't really have to buy everything all over again, or start up with a new road bike. Because some people might say, hey, you know what? I'm going from 11 speed. I'll just sell everything and go to 12 speed. Where this allows you to just accommodate, if you want to go electronic, you can use all your 11 speed components. So other than that, I'm just going to show you guys how they have 2 cage lengths, depending on what type of riding you're doing. So the short cage is to 46 tooth. And obviously for gravel racing or adventure cycling, I think the 52 cog on the back is just monstrous. It's good cadence. So I definitely suggest that one if you're going to do any type of adventure riding or gravel racing. Now, when it comes to the calipers, they have been improved from the initial version that WheelTop released, and it does use mineral oil. And from what I've seen online, because like I said, I have yet to test this on an actual disc brake bike. Hopefully we're going to build that up soon. But they said that most users actually said that they are better than SRAM and more or less on the same quality as Shimano. And I would say Shimano is, for braking and shifting, the gold standard. So I would say it really does give a big punch to SRAM. Obviously Shimano, for one-buy systems, no one really runs it. SRAM's invested a lot of their money. That's why you even see them focusing on road and trying to get people converted. But don't get me started on that. It really triggers me. But the calipers have been improved. It also has a dampening system, so I would have to test that as well, which they're saying keeps chain tension proper and reduces chain slap when you're going through those bumpy gravel roads. But other than that, I don't want to bore you too much with the specs, but just a really solid group set. And I can say that because I've ridden over 5,000 kilometers with the road group set. So if it's anything like that, which it is, it's going to handle more than fine. So the only thing that really sets us apart is the fact that it's all wireless. The batteries are not removable. One thing I'll touch up on is just the little flaps here sometimes don't stick in right away, but I would actually say this is slightly better. Maybe they changed compared to the road group set, but this actually stays in a lot easier compared to the one I have on my road bike. But other than that, just a solid group set, bang for your buck. And that's one thing I've always prided the channel on over here, is just you want equipment that if you need to replace it, crash, you're not over stressing, and it does the job very, very effectively. And I love the fact that this is a big step up from having a mechanical bike. One thing I've experienced too that I'll touch up on before we get into what type of bike I will build this group set up with, or what are my ideas, is that when you're traveling, you're not going to have a lot of tools on you. At least I haven't. I've lived in over 3 countries since I left Canada. And, I just don't have a portable bike shop to work on. I don't have a stand. So one thing I really do appreciate ever since going wireless, thanks to WheelTop, is just the fact that you can adjust everything just with your phone. Now the app, has a bad record in terms of just how easy it is to use. They have slightly improved it, but it's one of those things that once you get it working, it's relatively easy. It took me about 3 hours, 4 hours to fine tune my whole road bike. And ever since then, I have not had a problem. And when I take it back outside off the trainer, I'll take it to my local bike shop, which is the park, hang it up in the tree, and just do a quick initial season calibration. And then I'm off to riding. And I had not had any real big problems with it. So I think there's a lot of, cool things that the group set offers, where just to get your bike adjusted at any bike shop can run you anywhere between $100, $160. They treat it up as like a tune-up. And, with inflation and everything like that, ever since, 2020, just being able to do your own maintenance, basic tuning is such a big pro, because if the price is $600 USD, then just from, initial tune-up for the season, you're already paying off the group set. At least I think that's a logical way of looking at it. So other than that, I'm very excited to actually test out this Groupset, and I do want to get into gravel racing. Now, when it comes to my ideas of how I would build up my gravel bike for racing and for adventure riding, I would build it up something like this. Now, this is an open mold from China, but I'm just trying to show you guys an inspiration. So this is one route I'm considering. It kind of reminds me of the open mold or open upper frames, but this is just a generic China mold, and you can see has good geometry. It would be pretty aggressive as long as you slam the stem. And this is something that you can do, long gravel rides on, as long as the tire width is big enough. So anything, above 40, which this frame accommodates. You can see those are just like, almost looks like MTB tires, but this would be totally a good frame where, if you crash it, if you're racing it, you don't need to overly stress about it, versus if you want something more for, the cafe gravel. I don't know if cafe and gravel mix together. I never got to actually race or ride a lot of gravel post 2020. So that's why I'm kidding there. But this one obviously has a mechanical group set and it's a 2x. So obviously with this, it'd be a 1x setup and it would be all electronic. So this is one route I'm considering. And in terms of wheels, I would show you who I would go with. So I would go with Elite wheels, probably get one of these, which is the Drive G4 G45 SS. But these gravel spokes, the 5-spoke wheel looks actually insane. So that actually catches my eye. But I've been running Elite wheels on my bike for the last, I think, like 3 years and have not had a problem. So those reviews are long overdue because I was like, oh, I need to wait till I get more riding, more, climbing mountains and stuff like that. And I've put that through the ringer. So when it comes to wheels, I'm a big fan of Elite wheels and I would totally rock those on my gravel bike. And then in terms of all the other small components other than the frame, I would have to see, maybe I would do an integrated one-piece handlebar system. I don't know yet from Far Sports or a company like that, but it depends on if I'm going for pure racing setup. And then in terms of wheels, in terms of tires, I would have to figure that out as well. I have some ideas, but right now I'm just focusing on getting the frame. That is the most important thing. Now, the other frame I was considering is the crux, just because I was having the idea that if I'm going to be doing some more traveling, if I don't want to have a 2-bike setup, and Specialized is known for one bike to rule them all. I'm thinking one bike to do all the disciplines and actually rule them all. So I want maybe something that I can do some light, fast group rides with, but also do gravel. So the Crux, I know, is one of those bikes that can do it all. Now, it doesn't do it perfectly in the sense of you would obviously want a road bike for a fast group ride, and you would want a dedicated gravel bike for a gravel race or ride. But it does save the convenience of having 2 bikes or to travel with more equipment. A lot of people sometimes want to travel with 2 wheel sets. Not going to be an option as well. So you'd just be better to have 2 tires, but then you're dealing with sealant and hotel rooms, and that's just a headache as well. But I do think this could work. Obviously, it just depends. So I am considering the Crux, maybe not in an S-Works, maybe just in a lower tier frame, but I do like the geometry. And that's one thing with even the Chinese molds. They do have very similar geometry to the Crux. So I would consider that. Actually, it just depends. I just need to see what's available. What are my intentions? Am I racing? Am I going to be traveling a lot? So it really depends on, what my objective is, and I will kind of determine what I'm trying to achieve in terms of the frame. But those are just my initial ideas. Now, if you're wondering what past experience I have with gravel, I actually had a Giant TCX race bike. This is I think this is 2024, 2025 from Giant, but it was a really good bike because I was planning on racing cross with it in the fall, and also I was doing gravel or planning on doing gravel racing, and then 2020 hit and nothing happened. I had my peak fitness, blah, 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 blah. The past is the past. But that is my experience. It's slightly changed, but the geometry is relatively similar. And you can see that this is running SRAM as well. But for that price, I think we could build something pretty epic in terms of cheaper and basically being able to do the same thing. Also, Giant offers the Revolt, but I just think that's too slack of geometry, in my opinion. When I've ridden the bike and used to work in the industry, I personally wouldn't want that. And with the 2x system, you're definitely paying for that, where that's $7,000. So I definitely think you can build a bike better than this. So I'm just trying to explain what my past experience is. I really did like the snappiness of the TCX. The only thing I didn't like necessarily was what descending was a little twitchy, and the bottom backer was obviously higher up because it was used for cross. So I think building the bike with either this option or this option would be the perfect blend of both worlds. But other than that, it's just crazy to see how far China has come in terms of just offering great products at a very competitive price that gets the job done, doesn't break the bank, and offers pretty high tier in terms of just overall quality. So I want to hear what you guys think in terms of my build. I think that's my initial idea. Obviously, I have to execute it and have to see how logistics are going to be this year, just because I think it'd be amazing to get some races. Now, I'm currently still in Greece, but I'm thinking, do I race in Europe? Do I race in North America? You can comment down below what you guys think in terms of what races you would like to see me potentially consider. I just think a lot of it comes down to the logistics. So I'm really excited to figure that out. And one thing I'll say right now is that the training has been really easy. Now, for convenience sake, I've been on the trainer, but very soon, it's just some days it's like 12 degrees. I got a little used to how warm it was before, 16, 17 degrees. So if it's 12 degrees, I don't really want to bundle up. So it's just easier to get on the trainer. But very soon, back outside, back in the mountains, back to training. And I'm going to do a full update on that as well. Because like I said at the beginning of this video, you can see there's been some gains in terms of the form on the bike. And I do want to share the whole process, because I know a lot of longtime viewers of the channel have known from 2020 to now a lot has happened in terms of my fitness. So I do want to share that. But I do want to say thank you to WheelTop for sending this. It's just a matter of time after the holidays to actually get a plan going for this build. And one thing I've learned, especially from traveling, is when you get away from North America or mainland Europe, it does get a little trickier to get these bikes built up, just in terms of figuring out all the logistics. But I am excited to actually have a plan. And I'm thinking most likely around springtime, I will have this bike built up, and definitely before summer, because if you know me and the channel, I love gravel cycling. I love gravel adventures, just long days in the saddle, 5-6 hours, and just enjoying, dirt roads, low traffic, and just pure one with nature. As I say that, being on a bike, but as close as you can being, raw. And I'll keep you guys updated. I will be doing a very long-term review of the WheelTop Groupset, just because with all the kilometers I've done on it now, I do want to touch up on it when I get it back outside, and I'll do like a long-term review. But super impressed, and I haven't seen anyone ride as much the WheelTop Groupset, just because of probably other sponsorship commitments. So I'm super excited as someone that has ridden it to give a full long-term review. So if you guys have any questions, any suggestions, leave it in the comments down below. I really appreciate you watching this video. Hoped you learned something. If you do want to check out WheelTop, there will be a link in the description as well. And until the next one, keep on pedaling.